Have you ever had that strange, almost magnetic feeling, like someone is constantly thinking about you, even when they're not there? Maybe you catch him staring just a second too long, or he brings you up in random conversations for no reason. It's not just coincidence. According to legendary psychologist Carl Jung, these subtle signs reveal something powerful. You're living in his mind, even when you're not in the room. Jung's groundbreaking work on the unconscious mind shows that when someone is deeply fixated on you, their brain sends signals, sometimes without them even realizing it. From unexplained synchronicities to unconscious mirroring, these behaviors aren't random. They're proof that on some level he can't let you go. So if you've ever wondered whether you're really on his mind as much as you feel, pay attention. Today, we're breaking down the hidden psychological signs, rooted in Jung's theories, that reveal when a man just can't stop thinking about you. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never question his silence, or his silence, the same way again. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, revolutionized our understanding of the human mind by introducing the concept of the unconscious, a vast, hidden realm that shapes our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways we rarely recognize. Unlike Freud, who saw the unconscious as a dark cellar of repressed desires, Jung believed it was also a source of wisdom, creativity, and even spiritual guidance. He proposed that beneath our conscious awareness lies a deeper layer, the collective unconscious, a shared psychological inheritance of instincts, symbols, and memories passed down through generations. This is why certain images, like the hero, the mother, or the shadow, appear in myths and dreams across cultures. They're not just personal, they're universal. And when it comes to love and attraction, this hidden part of the mind plays a far bigger role than we might think. One of Jung's most fascinating contributions was his theory of archetypes, the primal blueprints of human behavior embedded in the collective unconscious. Among these, the anima, the feminine aspect within a man, and animus, the masculine aspect within a woman, are particularly powerful in shaping attraction. Jung believed that every person carries within them an inner counterpart of the opposite sex, a sort of psychological mirror. When a man meets a woman who embodies qualities of his anima, whether it's her warmth, creativity, or strength, something deep within him stirs. It's less about her objectively and more about how she resonates with this buried part of himself. This is why people often describe love as feeling familiar, as if they've known each other forever. In truth, they're recognizing something within themselves reflected in the other. This unconscious pull can be so intense that it feels like destiny, blurring the line between choice and compulsion. Then there's synchronicity, Jung's term for those eerie, seemingly coincidental moments that defy logic yet feel undeniably meaningful. Perhaps you think of him, and suddenly he texts. Or you keep running into each other in the most unexpected places. Jung argued that these aren't just random accidents. They're signs of an invisible thread connecting two people on a deeper level. Synchronicity happens when the inner world, emotions, thoughts, and the outer world, events, encounters, align in a way that can't be explained by cause and effect. It's the universe's way of whispering, "Pay attention, this matters." When a man is constantly on your mind, or you on his, these coincidences tend to multiply, as if the unconscious is conspiring to bring you together. The more you notice them, the more you realize his presence in your life isn't an accident. It's psychology. Sign number 1. He mirrors your actions and energy. There's something fascinating, almost uncanny, about the way two people in sync begin to move, speak, and even breathe in harmony. If you've ever noticed a man subtly mimicking your gestures, matching your tone of voice, or adopting your mannerisms, you might be witnessing one of the most telling psychological signs of all, mirroring. Carl Jung would argue this isn't mere coincidence or even conscious flattery. It's the unconscious mind's way of signaling deep connection, and it all ties back to his concept of the shadow self. Jung believed that within each of us lies a shadow, a hidden reservoir of traits we've repressed, denied, or simply failed to recognize in ourselves. These could be qualities we deem unacceptable, like aggression or vulnerability, or even latent strengths we've never embraced. When we meet someone who embodies aspects of our shadow, whether through their confidence, humor, or emotional expressiveness, we're instinctively drawn to them, because they reflect back to us the parts of ourselves we've yet to fully integrate. This is why mirroring goes beyond simple imitation. When a man unconsciously mirrors your body language, leaning in when you do, crossing his arms seconds after you, or laughing in the same rhythm, it's a sign his psyche is trying to bridge the gap between his conscious identity and the unclaimed aspects of himself that you bring to the surface. This phenomenon extends far beyond posture or gestures. You might notice him picking up your speech patterns, adopting your favorite phrases, or even your accent after spending time together. Or perhaps he develops sudden interests in hobbies or music you love, not because he's forcing it, but because your enthusiasm awakens something dormant in him. Real-life examples of this are everywhere. Think of the couple who, after years together, finishes each other's sentences. Or the man who, early in a relationship, starts using his partner's slang without realizing it. These aren't just habits, they're evidence of psychological alignment. Even more intriguing? Mirroring often happens most intensely when emotions run high. If you're upset, he might unconsciously mirror your tension, jaw clenching, shoulders tightening, even if he's not the cause of your distress. Conversely, when you're relaxed and open, his body language will often follow suit. This goes beyond empathy. It's as if his nervous system is calibrating to yours. Jung might say this is the shadow at work. Your emotional state triggers something in his unconscious, and mirroring becomes his psyche's way of saying, "I feel you, even the parts you haven't said aloud." The takeaway? If you spot a man mirroring you consistently, pay attention. It's not just that he's attracted to you, though that's likely true. On a deeper level, his unconscious mind is signaling that you resonate with him in a way few others do. You're not just in his thoughts, you're shaping them. Sign number 2, he brings you up in random conversations. When someone can't stop talking about you, even in seemingly unrelated contexts, it's never accidental. According to Jungian psychology, this compulsive mentioning is a form of projection, where the unconscious mind pushes its preoccupations into everyday speech. Jung taught that what we repress or fixate on internally inevitably surfaces externally, often in ways we don't consciously control. If a man frequently drops your name in conversations with friends, finds ways to relate random topics back to you, or shares anecdotes about you unprompted, his mind is doing something revealing. It's trying to integrate you into his psychological landscape. This isn't just casual recollection. It's his psyche declaring that you've become a living archetype in his mental world, a symbol that his thoughts orbit around even when you're absent. The symbolic nature of these mentions matters deeply in Jungian analysis. For instance, if he compares you to mythological figures, "You're like my personal Athena," describes you through recurring metaphors, "You're always the sunshine in my stories," or dreams about you in symbolic scenarios, rescuing you, losing you, seeing you in fantastical settings, these aren't just romantic flourishes. Jung saw such symbols as the unconscious mind's native language, a way to process intense emotions that the conscious mind can't fully articulate. Even seemingly trivial references, "Oh, this song? It made me think of you," carry weight. When a person becomes a recurring motif in someone's mental and verbal landscape, they've ceased being just another individual and have become a living symbol, a manifestation of the other person's inner world. Sign number 3. He notices small details about you. The way a man observes, or more tellingly, remembers, The minute details of your being offers a profound window into his unconscious priorities. Jung's concept of the personal unconscious explains why, while the collective unconscious stores universal archetypes, the personal unconscious hoards the emotionally charged fragments of our individual experiences. When he recalls the exact shade of your nail polish from 3 weeks ago, the specific way you tuck your hair behind your left ear when nervous, or your offhand comment about hating the smell of lavender, it signals something extraordinary. These details have bypassed casual memory and embedded themselves in his deeper psyche. This goes far beyond polite attentiveness. Conscious observation is deliberate. I should remember her birthday. But unconscious fixation is involuntary. His mind collects these details precisely because it can't help itself. Jung might describe this as the feeling-toned complex at work. When someone becomes emotionally significant, every associated detail, their perfume, a phrase they overuse, the way they hold a coffee cup, gets charged with psychological energy and stored in the personal unconscious. That's why these remembered details often surface at revealing moments. He might suddenly buy your favorite childhood candy for no reason, or correctly predict how you'll react to a film you've never discussed. These aren't guesses. They're eruptions from the storehouse of observations his mind has been secretly curating. The distinction between habitual noticing and unconscious retention becomes clear in time. A man merely paying attention will remember obvious things, your job, your allergies. But when he's unconsciously preoccupied, he'll retain the irrelevant data, the scar on your knee from a childhood fall you mentioned once, the fact you always hum the same song when distracted, how you take your tea on rainy days versus sunny ones. These aren't just details, they're the footprints left by his psyche circling you even when he's not aware of it. In Jungian terms, you're no longer just a person to him, you've become a living constellation of symbols his mind can't stop studying. Sign number 4. You keep accidentally running into each other. When seemingly random encounters with someone begin piling up beyond statistical probability, Jung would call this far more than mere coincidence. He would identify it as synchronicity, those meaningful moments when inner psychological states and outer events align in ways that defy logical explanation. If you keep bumping into him at the grocery store, the gym, or even across town in places neither of you frequent, it suggests an invisible thread connecting you. Jung believed synchronicities occur when the unconscious mind is intensely focused on something or someone, so much so that it begins influencing external reality, or at least your perception of it. His subconscious mind might be picking up on cues about your habits or schedule that he's not even aware he's noticed, driving him to places you might be. Or on a deeper level, the universe itself seems to be conspiring to cross your paths. These aren't just happy accidents. They're manifestations of an underlying psychological pull that neither of you may fully understand yet. Sign number 5. His dreams involve you. Dreams, in Jung's psychology, are the royal road to the unconscious, unfiltered expressions of our deepest fears, desires, and preoccupations. When you appear in a man's dreams frequently, especially in emotionally charged scenarios, it's a powerful indicator that you occupy significant space in his inner world. Jung saw dream figures as representations of unconscious content, so if he dreams of rescuing you, losing you, or being intimate with you, these scenarios aren't literal but symbolic of how his psyche is processing your connection. For instance, a dream where he's searching for you might reflect unconscious anxiety about emotional distance, while a dream where you're working together could symbolize his psyche integrating qualities he associates with you. If he shares these dreams or seems unusually affected after dreaming about you, maybe he's more affectionate, distant, or contemplative, it's because the dream has brought buried feelings closer to the surface. His unconscious is working through what his waking mind might not be ready to confront. Sign number 6. He gets protective or jealous. Jung's concept of the animus, The inner masculine energy in a woman's psyche has its counterpart in how men express their unconscious attachments. When a man becomes protective or exhibits subtle jealousy, it's often his animus energy projecting outward, revealing an instinctive urge to safeguard what he values. This isn't necessarily about toxic control. It might show up as him stepping closer when someone else flirts with you, remembering to walk you to your car at night, or even just a slight tension in his jaw when you mention another man's name. Jung would interpret these reactions as his unconscious asserting, "This connection matters." Even mild possessiveness can signal that on a primal level he senses you as someone who activates his inner archetype of the protector or partner, roles rooted in the collective unconscious. Sign number 7. He feels familiar, like you've known him forever. That eerie sense of recognition, the feeling that you've met someone before even when you haven't, is one of the most compelling signs of a Jungian connection. Jung attributed this to the collective unconscious, the layer of psyche that stores universal human experiences and archetypes. When you meet someone and feel an instant, almost mystical familiarity, it's because your unconscious recognizes them as a match for an inner archetype, the lover, the companion, the kindred spirit. This explains why some connections feel faded or written in the stars. It's not about past lives, though Jung didn't rule that out. It's about the psyche's ability to instantly detect when someone resonates with your deepest patterns. If he expresses this same feeling, saying things like, "It's like I've always known you," or "You feel like home," it's a sign your souls are speaking a language older than either of you. In Jung's framework, this isn't just chemistry, it's the unconscious acknowledging a meeting of two inner worlds. So let's recap these 7 powerful signs, rooted in Carl Jung's psychology, that reveal when a man can't stop thinking about you. First, he mirrors your actions and energy, unconsciously syncing with you on a deeper level. Second, he brings you up in random conversations, because you've become a recurring figure in his mental landscape. Third, he notices and remembers small details about you, the kind that slip past casual interest and embed themselves in the unconscious. Fourth, you keep accidentally running into each other, as synchronicity pulls your paths together. Fifth, you appear in his dreams, where his psyche works through its unspoken attachments. Sixth, he gets protective or subtly jealous, signaling that his instincts have marked you as someone significant. And seventh, perhaps the most mysterious, he feels familiar, like you've known each other forever, because your connection transcends the present moment and taps into something archetypal. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you experienced? Have you ever had a moment where someone's behavior revealed just how much space you occupied in their mind, even before they said it aloud? Share your stories in the comments below. There's nothing more fascinating than real-life examples of these psychological patterns playing out. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into psychology, relationships, and the hidden forces that shape attraction. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Let's keep exploring these invisible currents together, because the more you understand, the more you'll recognize when someone is truly, undeniably thinking about you even when they aren't saying a word. See you in the next video.